The gavel slammed down like a thunderclap, but it was my son's scream that shattered the silence. Raw, guttural, echoing off the oak-paneled walls of that godforsaken courtroom. "Dad, don't let them take me away." Alex's voice cracked, his 14-year-old fists pounding the witness stand as tears carved rivers down his freckled cheeks. In that frozen instant, as the judge's eyes widened and the school board's lawyer smirked, I realized this wasn't just a hearing anymore. It was war, and I was the only soldier standing between my boy and a system hellbent on erasing who he was. I never thought I'd end up here, a widowed dad from the sleepy suburbs of Portland, Oregon, staring down a room full of suits who wielded power like a weapon. My name's Ethan Harper, 38 years old, and until 6 months ago, life was a quiet rhythm of carpools, soccer practices, and microwave dinners for two. Alex and I had built our world after Sarah. His mom, my high school sweetheart, passed from cancer 4 years back. She was the straight-laced one, the PDA queen who baked cookies for fundraisers and volunteered at the library. Me? I was the dreamer, the guy who fixed leaky faucets with duct tape and whispered stories of far-off adventures to Alex at bedtime. But Sarah knew my secret before I did. She held my hand the night I came out to her, 2 years into our marriage, and said, "Ethan, love isn't a checklist. It's whoever makes your heart beat louder." We stayed together for Alex, co-parenting in a love that evolved into something fiercer, familial, unbreakable. When she died, it was just us against the world, two halves of a whole, navigating grief with bad jokes and late-night ice cream raids. Portland's always prided itself on being progressive, a city of rain-slicked streets, craft breweries, and rainbow crosswalks. But beneath that glossy veneer, shadows linger, especially in the hallways of Elmwood High, where Alex started freshman year. He was 12 when he told me he liked boys, whispered it over pancakes one Sunday, his eyes wide with fear I'd recoil. Instead, I pulled him into a bear hug and said, "Kiddo, the only thing that matters is you're brave enough to say it." We cried together, laughed together, and I promised I'd shield him from the storms. Little did I know the biggest gale would come from the very place meant to nurture him, school. Started small. Whispers in the locker room. Notes shoved into his backpack. "Fag, go back to San Francisco." Alex came home one afternoon, his backpack slung low like it carried the weight of the world, and dumped it on the kitchen table. Out spilled crumpled papers, a bruised apple, and his pride pin, the tiny rainbow flag I'd helped him craft from felt and safety pins. "They said I'm a distraction," he muttered, slumping into a chair. Mr. Hargrove pulled me aside after gym. Said my behavior was making the other boys uncomfortable. "Dad, what does that even mean?" My stomach twisted like a knife. Hargrove, the PE coach with a mustache that screamed 1980s cop show and a Bible quote tattoo peeking from his collar. I'd shaken his hand at orientation, complimented his whistle. Now I wanted to throttle him. I marched into Principal Whitaker's office the next day, coffee in hand like armor, demanding answers. Whitaker was a wiry woman in her 50s, all sharp bob and sharper glasses, who leaned back in her creaky chair and steepled her fingers. "Mr. Harper," she said, her voice smooth as oiled leather. "We're committed to a safe environment for all students. Alex's expressions of identity are valid, but we must consider the collective. Some parents have raised concerns. Concerns." The word hung in the air like smoke. I pressed, "Policies, interventions, counseling." She nodded, promised a mediated circle, some touchy-feely restorative justice buzzword, and sent me on my way with a pamphlet on family communication. But words are cheap, and actions? They betrayed her. 2 weeks later, Alex was suspended for disruptive conduct after shoving a kid who cornered him in the bathroom and spat slurs. The other boy, Tommy Reynolds, son of the school board president, mind you, walked away with a warning and a pat on the back. I saw red. That night, as rain pelted our A-frame roof like accusatory fingers, I sat Alex down on our sagging couch, the one Sarah and I had scavenged from a garage sale. "This isn't right, buddy," I said, my voice steady even as my hands shook. "We're not hiding anymore. We're fighting." His eyes, so like his mother's, hazel flecked with gold, lit with a spark I'd feared was dimming. You and me, Dad? Against them all? I ruffled his hair, that wild mop of chestnut curls. Damn straight. Or, well, you know what I mean. Filing the complaint was my first shot across the bow. I contacted the ACLU's local chapter, my fingers flying over the keyboard in our cluttered home office, surrounded by stacks of Sarah's old novels and Alex's half-finished model rockets. Enter Liam Kessler, the lawyer who would upend my world. He was 35, with tousled dark hair that begged to be finger-combed, wire-rimmed glasses that framed eyes like smoked quartz, and a smile that could disarm a jury or a jaded widower. We met in a dingy coffee shop off Burnside, the kind with mismatched mugs and chalkboard menus. "Ethan Harper?" he called, extending a hand warm and calloused, like he chopped wood on weekends. Up close, he smelled of cedar and fresh ink, and when our gazes locked, something in my chest unlocked. A flutter I hadn't felt since Sarah's funeral, when grief had buried my desires under layers of duty. Liam dove into the case like a man possessed. "This isn't just about Alex," he said over lattes, his voice a low rumble that vibrated through the Formica table. "It's systemic. Elmwood's board has a history, coded policies that target queer kids under the guise of order. We're suing for discrimination, violation of Title IX, the works." His passion was electric, igniting mine. We pored over documents late into the nights, Alex asleep upstairs, the house humming with the low buzz of our shared purpose. Liam shared stories of his own. Growing up gay in rural Idaho, the beatings, the closet, the escape to law school on scholarships and spite. "I fight so no kid has to hide," he said one evening, his knee brushing mine under the table. I swallowed hard, heat rising in my cheeks. Was it the wine, or the way his laugh lines crinkled when he teased me about my terrible handwriting? As weeks blurred into a montage of depositions and affidavits, that spark kindled into flame. Our first real kiss happened after a brutal strategy session, rain lashing the windows like applause. We'd argued, me insisting on going public, him warning of backlash, and in the heat he cupped my face, his thumb tracing my jaw. "Ethan, you're terrifying," he murmured, before his lips met mine, soft and urgent, tasting of black coffee and unspoken longing. I melted into him, hands fisting his shirt, the world narrowing to the press of his body against mine. It was messy, desperate, a reclaiming of joy I'd thought lost forever. "I've wanted this since day one," he confessed afterward, forehead to mine, breaths mingling. "But the case." I silenced him with another kiss. Love in the trenches, we called it, fierce, fleeting moments stolen between subpoenas. But paradise has serpents, and ours slithered in wearing a friendly face. Mark Whitaker, the principal's husband and a board member, approached me at a PDA mixer I'd crashed for Intel. Tall, affable, with a golfer's tan and a salesman's grin. He clapped me on the back like we were old pals. "Ethan, tough spot you're in. But hey, families stick together, right? Drop the suit and I'll make sure Alex gets into the honors track. Private mentorship, the works. Bribery, wrapped in benevolence." I played along, nodding, buying time. That night, I told Liam, who paced our living room like a caged panther. "It's a trap," he growled. "They're testing loyalty." But doubt crept in, insidious as fog off the Willamette. Was I dragging Alex through hell for principle or ego? The betrayal hit like a sucker punch. I'd confided in Jamie, my best friend since college, a fellow single dad, straight as an arrow, who coached Alex's soccer team. We'd bonded over beers and babysitting swaps, him the rock when Sarah died. "You're doing the right thing, man," he'd say, toasting my resolve, until the night before the hearing, when I overheard him on the phone in our garage, voice low and urgent. "Yeah, Harper's cracking. Push the offer tomorrow, he'll fold." My blood ran cold. Jamie, selling me out to the board for a consulting gig on their diversity committee. Irony's cruelest joke. I confronted him at dawn, rain sheeting down as he loaded his truck. "How could you?" I roared, fists clenched. He flinched, eyes darting. "Ethan, it's business. Alex needs stability, not headlines." You're in over your head. Stability. The word tasted like ash. He drove off, tires spitting gravel, leaving me hollowed out, wondering if trust was just another casualty. The courtroom loomed, a coliseum of polished wood and fluorescent hum, packed with reporters, activists, and Alex's classmates. Some cheering, others glaring. I took the stand, heart hammering, Liam's hand a ghost on my shoulder from the night before. "Tell them your story, Ethan," he'd whispered, our goodbye laced with fear. The board's lawyer, a shark named Harlan Graves, circled like a vulture. "Mr. Harper, isn't it true you're using this lawsuit to advance a personal agenda? Your lifestyle influencing Alex's confusion." The room gasped. Alex whimpered from the gallery. Rage boiled up, but I channeled it, voice steady as steel. "My lifestyle? It's love, Mr. Graves. The same kind that raised a boy strong enough to face bullies and bigots. Alex isn't confused, he's clear. And this school? It's failing him because cowards like you can't handle truth." Cross-examination dragged, each question a barb. My widowhood painted as instability, our kisses implied as scandal. But then Alex testified, voice quavering but unbroken. "I love my dad. He taught me to stand up. The school. They make me feel like I'm wrong for existing." Sobs rippled through the crowd. Even the judge dabbed her eyes. Liam's closing was fire, quoting Plessy versus Ferguson, Loving versus Virginia, the arc of justice bending toward the marginalized. "This isn't about one boy," he thundered. "It's about every kid who dares to be seen." The verdict came after deliberation that stretched like taffy. Guilty on all counts. The board ordered to overhaul policies, pay damages, reinstate Alex with apologies. Cheers erupted. Alex launched into my arms, burying his face in my neck. "We did it, Dad." But victory soured fast. Liam pulled me aside in the emptying hall, face ashen. "Ethan, I have to tell you, before the case, the board approached me, offered a partnership at their firm if I tanked it. Betrayal, round 2. My world tilted. "You?" He shook his head, eyes pleading. I said no, turned them down flat. But it cost me, they're blackballing me now. Lost my pro bono slot, whispers in every office. He gripped my arms, desperate. "I chose you. Us." Tears stung. Forgiveness warred with fracture. "Why now?" I whispered. "Because love isn't clean, Ethan. It's courtroom dirty, full of ifs and almosts. But it's real." We kissed amid the chaos, salt and sweetness. A vow forged in fire. Months later, the scars linger, but so does the light. Alex thrives. Captain of the debate team, out and proud. His laughter filling our home like music. Liam and I, we're building, brick by tentative brick. Weekend hikes in the Columbia Gorge, where mist clings to evergreens and waterfalls roar approval. Quiet dinners where we trade stories of what-ifs, weaving Sarah's memory into our tapestry. Jamie's ghost haunts. A Christmas card returned unopened, but we found new anchors. A support group for queer families, where vulnerability blooms into strength. In the end, the fight wasn't for headlines or handouts. It was for the boy who taught me courage, the man who reignited my heart, and the truth that rights aren't given. They're seized in courtrooms and bedrooms alike. America, land of the free, only if we make it so, one defiant stand at a time. Rebuilding wasn't linear. It zigzagged like the trails we hiked, full of switchbacks and breathtaking vistas that left you gasping. After the verdict, Portland buzzed with our story. Front page in the Oregonian. Segments on local NPR where the host's voice cracked reading Alex's testimony. Reporters camped our driveway, their vans hulking like beached whales under sodium streetlights. I shielded Alex with hoodies and back doors, but fame's double edge cut deep. Strangers sent hate mail scrawled in block letters, "Pervert dad corrupting youth," while others mailed care packages of rainbow socks and handwritten notes. "You gave my son hope." Liam fielded the legal fallout. His phone a constant trill of rejections masked as scheduling conflicts. "It's temporary," he'd say, forcing brightness over morning coffee. But I saw the toll in the shadows under his eyes, the way he'd stare out windows like a man plotting escape. We escaped instead to Cannon Beach, where Haystack Rock looms like a sentinel against slate-gray waves. It was Alex's idea, a victory road trip packed with his iPod playlists, indie folk anthems about outcasts finding home, and my guilty pleasure audiobooks on civil rights heroes. Liam drove our borrowed Subaru, knuckles white on the wheel as Oregon's coast unspooled. Cliffs jagged as accusations, beaches vast as absolution. Alex bounded ahead, collecting agates that glinted like captured stars, while Liam and I lagged, hands brushing in that electric not quite accidental way. "Remember our first hike?" he murmured, as gulls wheeled overhead. How could I forget? 3 weeks post-verdict, we'd climbed Multnomah Falls, mist veiling our confessions. I'd admitted the terror. Losing Sarah had hollowed me, made love feel like a luxury I couldn't afford. "You're not hollow, Ethan," he'd replied, water thundering beside us. "You're a goddamn canyon. Deep, echoing, full of life waiting to rush back in." That night, around a driftwood fire that snapped like fireworks, Alex roasted marshmallows to charred perfection and grilled Liam with the innocence only teens wield as weapons. "So, hypothetically," he said, gooey fork poised, "if you and Dad got married, would you adopt me? Like, officially?" Liam choked on his beer, foam bubbling like laughter suppressed. I froze, heart a hummingbird. Marriage? We danced around labels. Boyfriends, partners, the guy I'm seeing. But Alex's bluntness stripped us bare. Liam recovered, eyes twinkling. "Hypothetically? I'd fight tooth and nail for that honor, kid." Alex beamed, then yawned theatrically, muttering about old people flirting, as he zipped into the tent. Alone, stars pricking the velvet sky, Liam turned to me. "He's right, you know. I want this, all of it." His hand found mine, calluses mapping promises. We didn't rush. Instead, we lay back, tracing constellations, whispering futures where courtrooms were memories, not monsters. Back home, reality reasserted with teeth. The school board appealed, dragging us into appeals court limbo, their lawyers nitpicking clauses like vultures on carrion. Whitaker called a conciliation meeting, her office reeking of stale popery and insincerity. "We're implementing changes," she assured, gesturing to a binder labeled Inclusive Pathways Initiative. But her eyes darted, and when Alex asked about the new counselor, a queer ally we'd pushed for, she hedged. "Under review." Liam, ever the hawk, spotted the dodge. "This is theater," he hissed later, pacing our kitchen as I chopped onions for stir-fry, tears blurring vision from more than vapors. "They're complying on paper to stall the appeal." Frustration boiled over. I slammed the knife down. "Then what? We bankrupt ourselves on lawyers? Alex deserves normalcy, not this endless siege." He stopped, face crumpling. "I know. God. Ethan. I'm trying not to drown you in this." We collided in a hug that bruised, his shirt damp with my onion-scented sobs. Love's alchemy, turning leaden fear into golden resolve. Betrayal's echo lingered, though in unexpected forms. My brother, Nate, flew in from Seattle for a weekend check-in, big bro energy intact, with his tool belt tan and dad bod honed from contracting gigs. He'd been Sarah's cheerleader, mine too, back when coming out felt like defusing a bomb. Over burgers at our corner dive, he clapped my shoulder. "Proud of you, little bro. But is this sustainable? The kid's resilient, but press hounds? That's trauma fodder." His concern landed like a featherweight punch, well-intentioned, but it unearthed doubts. That night, after Alex crashed early, Nate cornered me on the porch light haloing his worried frown. "Ethan, Liam's great, but he's all fire, no foundation. What if he bails when the heat's off? You need steady, not fireworks. Steady. Like Jamie's false solidity." I bristled, defending Liam's quiet sacrifices. The pro bono hours unpaid, the nights he held Alex through nightmares of courtroom echoes. "He's steady where it counts," I snapped. Nate sighed, pulling me into a back thump. "Just protect your heart. For Alex." His flight left Sunday, but his words burrowed, a thorn in tender flesh. The thorn drew blood at the worst moment. A school dance, Alex's first post-verdict bash. He'd agonized over outfits, graphic tee proclaiming love wins or something subtler. Settling on jeans and his pride bracelet, a beaded affair we'd made at a craft fair. I dropped him off, Liam in the passenger seat, both of us waving like lunatics as he vanished into the gym's glow. 2 hours later, my phone shattered the illusion. Alex, voice muffled by tears. Dad, they slashed my tires. The bracelet, it's gone. Tommy and his crew. They said I'd never be safe. Fury ignited. I floored it back, Liam's hand on my thigh a grounding wire. The lot was a crime scene. Tires weeping rubber confetti. Alex huddled by the curb, arms wrapped tight. I enveloped him, murmuring nonsense. I've got you always. Liam called cops, his lawyer brain cataloging evidence. Tire iron marks, slurs spray-painted on the hood. Queer out. The fallout fractured us anew. Alex withdrew, his spark guttering to embers. School became a battlefield, even with the reforms. I blamed myself. Had victory blinded me to vigilance? Liam and I argued in whispers, post-bedtime, accusations flying like shrapnel. You're too optimistic, I'd hiss. This city's poison. He'd counter. And you're letting fear win. Exactly what they want. One night, it peaked. Me storming to the guest room, his space-stirring appeals crunch. Slamming the door on his plea. Ethan, talk to me. Sleep evaded, haunted by Nate's warning. By dawn, regret gnawed. I found Liam on the couch, knees to chest, looking smaller than his 6-foot frame allowed. I'm scared, he admitted, voice raw, of losing you to this war. I knelt, framing his face. Then let's armor up together. Our kiss was apology, anchor, a vow to fight not just the board, but our inner saboteurs. Spring thawed the ice, literally and figuratively. Cherry blossoms dusted our neighborhood like confetti from a kinder parade, and Alex's therapist, a soft-spoken woman named Rivera with a knack for metaphors, helped him reclaim narrative. You're the hero, Mijo, she'd say. Villains only win if you hand them the script. He emerged bolder, organizing a GSA club that ballooned to 30 kids. Their meetings in our living room a cacophony of pizza boxes and poster paints. Liam mentored pro bono, teaching them legalese laced with humor. Contracts are like bad dates. Read the fine print, or regret it forever. Watching him with them, patient, passionate, dissolved my doubts. Nate visited again, saw the shift, and nodded approval over backyard BBQs. Fireworks build bonfires, huh? I grinned, flipping burgers. The best kind. Yet suspense simmered. The appeal hearing loomed like a storm front. We prepped relentlessly, Liam's apartment a war room of highlighters and half-eaten takeout. One evening, amid mock cross-exams, he paused, setting down his pen. Marry me, Ethan. Not a question, a statement. Eyes locked, vulnerable as exposed wire. My breath hitched. Alex, eavesdropping from the hall, whooped prematurely. Yes, finally. Laughter broke tension. I pulled Liam close. After the storm, I bargained. Clear skies. He nodded, sealing it with a kiss that tasted of forever. The hearing dawned crisp. Multnomah County Courthouse, a bastion of marble and murmured oaths. Alex flanked me, hand in mine. Liam argued like avenging fury, dismantling the board's flimsy appeals with precedents stacked like dominoes. Graves, the shark, floundered, his bluster deflating under scrutiny. The judge, a grizzled veteran with a rainbow pin discreet on her robe, ruled swift. Appeal denied, reforms locked in, sanctions tripled. Elation surged. We spilled into the plaza, activists chanting, cameras flashing. Alex hugged Liam fierce. Thanks, Uncle Allure, future dad? We dissolved into heaps, Portland's autumn sun gilding the moment gold. But triumph's afterglow revealed cracks. Liam's career teetered. Offers dried up, freelance scraps barely covering rent. I'll bartend if I must, he joked, but worry etched his brow. I proposed a pivot, co-founding a nonprofit, Rights Rising, blending his legal chops with my grassroots grit. Alex designed the logo, a fist clutching a rainbow torch. Donors trickled in, then flooded. Queer philanthropists, sympathetic alums. Our first event? A gala in a converted warehouse. Fairy lights twinkling like stars reclaimed. I toasted voice thick. To battles won, and those yet to come. To love that endures. Liam's eyes met mine across the room. A silent I do. Winter clamped down hard that year. Snow blanketing Portland in a hush that muffled more than streets. It quieted the gnawing anxieties I'd carried like unpaid debts. Rights Rising took root in a leased space downtown. A former print shop with exposed brick and windows that framed the Burnside Bridge like a living postcard. Liam dove in headfirst, drafting charters while I handled outreach. Coffee chats with hesitant parents. Workshops in community centers where folding chairs creaked under weights of shared secrets. Alex volunteered after school. His enthusiasm a bomb. Stuffing envelopes with flyers that read, "Your voice?" Amplified. His handwriting looping with teenage flair. "This feels like us, Dad," he'd say, sealing stacks with a flourish. The pronoun expanded now, encompassing Liam's quiet competence, the volunteers' fervent chatter, even the stray cat that adopted our doorstep, whom Alex dubbed Justice for her one-eyed glare. Romance, though, required tending, like the window herb garden Liam insisted on, basil wilting if neglected, thriving with sun and whispers. Our dates were stolen luxuries. Picnics in Washington Park, where cherry trees stood skeletal but promising, sandwiches wrapped in wax paper and wine pilfered from fundraisers. One twilight, as Japanese maples rained crimson leaves, Liam unpacked a velvet box. Not the ring, but a key, etched with our intertwined initials. "To the chaos," he said, slipping it onto my chain beside Sarah's wedding band. Permanently. Heat bloomed in my chest. I kissed him slow, leaves swirling like confetti around us. "Chaos suits you," I murmured. That night, back home, Alex caught us tangled on the couch. PG-rated, but flushed, and rolled his eyes heavenward. "Get a room, lovebirds. Or at least lock the door." Laughter pealed, light as fresh snow. But drama doesn't bow to domesticity. It lurks, waiting for vulnerability. The first tremor came via email. An anonymous tip to our hotline, voice modulated in the attached audio. "Check the board minutes. Pre-verdict." Whitaker buried complaints. Dozens, queer kids gaslit into silence. Liam's jaw tightened as we listened in the office. Justice purring obliviously on his lap. If true, it's obstruction, felony territory. We dug, subpoenas flying like snowflakes. What emerged chilled. A ledger of hushed incidents. Parents coerced into NDAs with promises of leniency. One name leaped. Riley Tate, a trans girl from Alex's grade, who'd transferred after counseling that bordered on conversion therapy light. Her mom, Carla, became our whistleblower, fierce, tattooed, with a smoker's rasp and eyes that burned. "They broke her," she told us over diner coffee, steam curling like ghosts. Riley attempted, twice. Now she's homeschooled, but the damage? Etched in stone. Carla's story ignited a firestorm. We leaked the docs to allies, pro bono journalists hungry for scalps, and the press feasted. Headlines screamed Elmwood's secret shame. Protests swelled outside City Hall, rainbow banners whipping in wind like battle flags. Whitaker resigned in a tearful presser, spin-doctored as stepping back for family. But whispers pegged it as cornered rat. Her husband, Mark, the briber, faced ethics probes. His consulting evaporated overnight. Vindicated? Partially. But victory's fruit soured when backlash bit. Hate groups picketed our office. Bullhorns blaring scripture twisted into barbs. Sodom soldiers repent. Alex, caught en route to school, endured eggs splattered on his jacket. Yolk dripping like accusations. He shrugged it off at dinner, but his fork trembled. "It's okay, Dad. Heroes get messy." Liam shielded us best he could, but strain showed in fissures. Late nights blurring into dawn, his temper a rare flare when printers jammed or donors ghosted. One blizzard evening, snow howling like banshees, we argued over strategy. Me pushing aggressive lawsuits, him urging measured alliances. You're becoming them, he snapped, slamming a file. Ruthless, win at all costs. The words landed like slaps. I stormed out, boots crunching virgin snow, wandering Powell's city of books until numbness set in. Shelves towered, a labyrinth of lives chronicled, and in the LGBTQ+ section, I pulled a volume on Stonewall. Raw accounts of riots born from raids. Perspective shifted. I texted Liam. Basil needs water. Home soon. He met me at the door, arms open, apology in his eyes. I'm the ruthless one. Pushing too hard. We thawed over hot cocoa. Alex oblivious upstairs. Our reconciliation a quiet mending. Fingers laced, silences speaking volumes. Spring's thaw brought bloom and barb. Our engagement formalized in a backyard ceremony. Alex officiating with a pilfered stole from his theater club. Nate as best man cracking dad jokes. Ethan, from hiding rainbows to waving them, proud doesn't cover it. Vows exchanged under string lights, Liam's voice steady. I promise to fight beside you, not ahead or behind. In courts and kitchens, always. Rings slid on, simple bands of recycled gold, engraved with clear skies. And Alex hooped, dousing us in silly string. The reception, potluck potpourri. Carla's deviled eggs, volunteers' pies, justice batting at ribbons. But joy jarred when Tommy Reynolds appeared at the gate. Uninvited, face gaunt under streetlight. Mr. Harper, I messed up. Bad. Alex tensed beside me. Liam's hand stiffened on my waist. Tommy's confession tumbled. Pressured by his dad. Remorse gnawing since the dance. I slashed the tires. Said the slurs. But it's eating me. Redemption's door cracked. We invited him in. Awkward small talk over cake masking the minefield. Tommy's turnaround became legend or cautionary tale. He testified against the board remnants, his voice cracking on stand. I was scared of Dad's rages of being different. But Alex, he's braver than me. Charges stuck. Mark Reynolds indicted for witness tampering. His empire crumbling like dry rot. Carla reunited with Riley at our center's first youth summit. Her daughter's smile tentative but real. Braids tipped blue. Thanks for the space to breathe. She hugged me. Liam beamed, arm around my shoulders. That's the work. Yet conflict coiled anew, serpentine. An old flame of Liam's resurfaced Drew, a Silver Fox litigator from his law school days, now heading a rival firm. Collaborate. Drew proposed over lunch. I'd crashed, his charm oiled, eyes lingering on Liam like unfinished business. Jealousy, irrational but insistent. Nod. Drew's polish versus Liam's grit, stability versus our scrappy dream. That night I confronted wine-loosening tongues. Is he why you hesitated back when? Liam recoiled, hurt flashing. Ethan, that was a lifetime ago. College fumblings. Nothing like us. But doubt festered. Drew's offers escalated. Partnership for Liam. Resources for rights rising. Temptations whisper. Security for Alex. Ease after endless siege. The climax crested at our annual gala. Chandeliers dripping light like liquid gold. Bids paddling for auctioned art. Alex's portrait of us three. Smudged with earnest charcoal. Drew cornered Liam by the bar. Murmur low. Come back. Lead the queer rights division. Your vision, my backing. Liam wavered. I saw it. The pull of power, the siren song of less struggle. Heart pounding, I intervened. Voice pitched civil. Drew. Flattery's cheap. We're building, not buying out. Drew smirked. Exiting with a card slipped into Liam's pocket. Alone, storm brewed. Tell me you said no, I demanded, alcove shadows cloaking fury. Liam's eyes glistened. I considered it. For us. Stability, Ethan. Alex's college, our wedding without scraping. Betrayal's blade twisted. Fresh and familiar. So I'm the anchor, dragging you down? He reached. I recoiled. No, God, no. You're the reason I fight. The gala's roar faded. We drove home in charged silence, Alex chattering obliviously from back seat. Inside, explosion. Accusations hurled. You're ashamed of Scrappy. And you're scared of success. Until Alex burst in, tear-streaked. Stop. You're ruining everything we won. His words doused flames. We collapsed, trio huddle on the floor, sobs sinking like a dirge. Dawn brought reckoning. Liam tore up Drew's card, recommitting with a co-authored op-ed blasting corporate co-opting of activism. Our way, he wrote. Messy, mighty hours. I apologized for doubting, he for entertaining escape. Love's forge, hotter, stronger post-temper. Summer solstice marked pivot. Our wedding on the riverbank, Willamette waters lapping like applause. Alex walked me down the aisle. Liam's nod to tradition flipped, Nate toasting with beer foam. To rivers that bend but never break. Rings renewed under arbor of wild roses. Vows echoing. In flood and fair, I choose you. Honeymoon, a cabin in the Cascades. Alex with Nate for uncle bonding. Where Liam and I hiked to Proxy Falls. Making love in dappled light. Tender, timeless. Clear skies, he breathed, tracing my scars. Autumn's palette painted Portland in fire. Oaks aflame, maples bleeding red. And with it came a harvest of hard-won peace. Though peace, I've learned, is less destination than diligent tending. Rights rising flourished, our roster swelling with cases. A non-binary teacher reinstated after bogus parent complaints. A GSA club funded against budget cuts. Liam's star ascended modestly. A TEDx talk on justice in the margins. His voice carrying that Idaho twang softened by city years, going viral among educators. He's a natural, I tease post-screening, curled on our new-ish sectional justice batting at the remote. He'd blush, pulling me closer. Only 'cause you're my muse. Domesticity deepened. Shared closets, synchronized snores, Alex's eye rolls at our gross kitchen dances to Springsteen. But life's script twists. Ours did when Sarah's ghost resurfaced. Not specter, but legacy. Sorting attic boxes for a garage sale, Alex unearthed her journals. Leather-bound tomes I'd packed away, too raw to rifle. Dad, look, he said, dust motes dancing in beam. Pages yellowed, ink faded. Entries on our marriage's metamorphosis. Her quiet advocacy for my truth. One passage gutted. Ethan's light dimmed in hiding. Watching him bloom for Alex, for himself, mends me more than words. Tears welled. Liam read over my shoulder, hands squeezing. She was your first ally. We sat amid relics, Alex tracing her script. Grandma Sarah would have loved you, Liam. A bridge built, spanning grief to gratitude. The emotional undercurrent swelled with Alex's milestone. His first boyfriend, Jordan. A lanky sophomore with braces glinting like secrets and a sketchbook perpetually in hand. Announcement came over tacos, Alex's cheeks pinker than salsa. He's nice, Dad. Draws me like a superhero. Pride swelled, mingled with pang. The boy becoming man, my role shifting from shield to sideline. Liam mentored subtly. Listen more than lecture, kid. Hearts are canvases, gentle strokes. Their arcade dates, chaperoned covertly, me tailing with a newspaper like a bad spy novel. Jordan proved solid, shy smiles, respect for boundaries, easing my hovercraft tendencies. Suspense reignited, though, via a ghost from the board's graveyard. Harlan Graves, the courtroom shark, now reformed per his LinkedIn glow-up, hawking compliance consulting to schools. He pitched Rights Rising a partnership, bridge building. He called it over Zoom, Ty Askew like false humility. Liam's lip curled. He's circling for redemption points or revenge. We declined, but Graves persisted. Op-eds shading our extremism. Whispers to funders about unstable leadership. Paranoia prickled. Late-night stakeouts of our office. Melodramatic, but Liam's idea. Yielded nada but raccoons rifling bins. The real strike landed sly. A leaked email chain, doctored to paint Liam as aggressive litigator, shaking down innocence. Donors wavered. Our board chair called an emergency meet. Perception's poison, she warned, glasses fogged with tension. Conflict crested in a boardroom brawl, metaphorical, but fists might have flown. Accusations pinged. Is this sabotage or slander? Liam defended, voice thunder. We've bled for integrity. We won't bend to bullies. I backed him, but privately, fracture loomed. What if he's right? I confessed later, rain drumming our roof like impatient fingers. What if we're too combative? Liam paced, shadows lengthening. Ethan, that's the trap, doubt as weapon. I won't let them fracture us again. But fracture they did, subtly. His withdrawal into work, my overcompensation with charm offensives. Alex sensed, cornering me in the hall. You're drifting, like post-verdict. His insight pierced. Teen wisdom often does. Betrayal specter loomed largest when Nate visited, bearing news. Jamie, my erstwhile traitor, diagnosed with pancreatic, late stage, aggressive. He's asking for you, Nate said, eyes downcast over pie. Shock numbed. Jamie, the rock turned rubble, now rubble himself. I wrestled. Forgive? Forget? Liam urged grace. Not for him, for your peace. Alex, surprisingly, pushed. He was family once. Go dead. Closed the circle. The hospital room reeked of antiseptic and regret. Jamie frail in Johnny. Monitors beeping dirge. Ethan. I was wrong. Scared, stupid. Tell Alex. Sorry. Words bridged abyss. I clasped his hand, whispering absolution. Water under the bridge, man. His passing 2 weeks later freed something. Grief, yes, but growth too. At the sparse service, I eulogized. We clashed to clarify. Jamie taught me that the hard way. Liam squeezed my knee, anchor steady. Humanity's thread wove through loss. A new case, pro bono for a rural Oregon kid. Echoing Liam's youth. Beaten for a crush, school complicit. We won swift, settlement funding our first scholarship. Sarah's stand. For queer youth pursuing justice degrees. Alex nominated the recipient. A wiry girl with fire in her verse. Ceremony at our center, podium borrowed from the courthouse, poetic justice. Her speech. You gave me wings when they clipped them. Applause thundered. Liam teared up, whispering, we're doing it. Romance reignited amid embers. For our anniversary, Liam blindfolded me. Trust fall into unknown. Leading to a rooftop overlooking the city, skyline twinkling like approval. Table set. Candles guttering in breeze, menu his handwritten scrawl. Roast chicken, burnt edges forgiven, wine from Napa, our someday trip. To us, he toasted, clinking glasses. The battle that became home. Midway he knelt, second time but first with the ring. White gold, sapphire inlay like captured sky. Marry me proper? With vows and violins. Laughter bubbled. I yanked him up. Fool, yes, always. Fireworks, literal July bleed over. Burst overhead, sinking with our kiss. Deep, devouring a reclamation. But drama's denouement brewed in whispers. Graves escalated. Lawsuit against us for defamation. Claiming our leaks ruined his rep. Court date set. Irony thick. Back in the arena we'd conquered. Prep consumed. Depositions dredging old wounds. Alex's anxiety spiking into skipped meals. What if we lose everything? He fretted, sketching furiously. Dragons devouring suits. Liam rallied. Family game nights with Monopoly twisted to legal landlords. Laughs laundering fear. I leaned on Nate, now Portland-based for a project. His steady counsel. You've got the truth. That's armor enough. The hearing unfolded in miniature maelstrom. Graves posturing, evidence flimsy as wet paper. Liam cross-examined with surgical precision, exposing forgeries, digital fingerprints leading to a disgruntled ex-associate. Judge dismissed with prejudice. Fines levied on Graves. Frivolous pursuit of vendetta. Gavel fell. Relief washed. Title. Outside, press swarmed. Alex photobombed with peace signs, Jordan trailing like a shadow puppy. Post-victory, catharsis crested. We hosted a burn the briefs bonfire. Old files torched in our pit, sparks ascending like freed wishes. Carla brought esmores. Riley recited poetry, voice blooming. Liam and I slow danced to Alex's playlist, his head on my shoulder. Think we're done fighting? I chuckled. Nah. But now we choose the fields. Dawn pinked the horizon, smoke curling lazy. Justice yawned from her throne. As leaves fell, so did defenses. Alex and Jordan's first "I love you" exchanged at our kitchen table, us pretending not to eavesdrop. Tears pricking, pride swelling. Liam's book deal landed. Memoir of our saga, gavel and grace. Signing party, intimate, our circle toasting. To stories that scar and soar. Nate pulled me aside. "Sarah, say you're whole again." I nodded, throat tight. Whole scarred mosaic, but radiant. Winter whispered warnings, though. A letter from Tommy, now college-bound on our scholarship. Thanks for second chances. Paying it forward. Redemption's ripple. But a darker note. Rumors of bored holdouts plotting recall elections. Anti-LGBTQ ballot measures bubbling in Salem. Storm clouds gathered, but we'd weathered fiercer. The recall election loomed like a specter over New Year's, Portland's fireworks fizzling against the chill of impending votes. Billboards sprouted like weeds. Protect our kids. Vote yes. Sponsored by ghosts of the old board. Their coffers refilled by out-of-state dark money. Fearmongers painted us as villains. Radical agendas erasing parental rights. Alex, now 15 and fierce, countered with flyers on poles. Rights for all, not fear for some. His eloquence, honed in debate, drew crowds at rallies. Teens chanting, parents nodding. Jordan tagged along, sketching protest signs with slogans like, "Love lies." Liam and I marveled from sidelines, hands clasped. "He's us amplified," Liam murmured. I squeezed back. "And better for it." Our marriage anchored the tumult. Vows renewed in a civil ceremony at City Hall. Alex, best man with a boutonniere wilting adorably. Judge from our big win officiated, her rainbow pin winking. "In justice's name, I pronounce you wed." Rings exchanged anew. Kisses sealed with cheers from Carla, Nate, Riley's crew. Reception at Wright's rising. Dance floor sticky with spilled punch. Liam twirling Alex in mock waltz till both collapsed giggling. "Future stepdad privileges," Liam panted. Alex grinned. "Earned 'em." That night, hotel suite overlooking the river. Champagne fizzing, bodies entwining slow, reverent. "Husband," Liam breathed, tracing vows tattooed on my rib. Clear skies. Dawn found us tangled, Portland awakening below. A city we'd reshaped, inch by defiant inch. But climax brewed in ballot box brinkmanship. Polls teetered, our counter-campaign, door-to-door canvassing, viral videos of Alex's testimonial. Rallied progressives but alienated moderates. Graves lurked, advising the Yes Committee, his grin a staple in attack ads. "Don't let activists indoctrinate." Personal toll mounted. Death threats scrawled on our door. Cops chalked it vandalism. Liam's sleep fractured by nightmares of loss. One midnight, he jolted awake, gasping, "They win, we lose everything." I held him, heartbeat sinking. "Not everything. Not us." Dawn brought resolve. A press conference, Liam and I flanking Alex, voices unified. "This isn't erasure, it's elevation. Vote for the kid who walks taller because we dared." Election night unfolded in our living room Warren. Volunteers sprawled on floors, pizza boxes fortresses, Justice Queen of the coffee table. Returns trickled, early leads for yes, stomachs nodding. Alex paced, Jordan's hand in his. "Breathe, babe." By 2 a.m., tide turned, no surging, margins widening. Cheers erupted at projection. 52% against recall. We won narrow, but nectar sweet. Hugs devolved to heap. Nate popped champagne, foam baptizing us. "To underdogs," he toasted. Liam pulled me close amid revelry. We did it, but victory veiled vulnerability. Post-ballot blues hit hard, exhaustion's undertow dragging. Betrayal's final echo surfaced in spring thaw. An internal audit at Wright's rising unearthed discrepancies. Funds misallocated. A junior staffer skimming for personal advocacy. Shock rippled. The kid, barely 20, confessed tearfully, "I thought," Ends justify. Liam, betrayed afresh, nearly crumbled. Trust, his cornerstone, cracked. Am I blind? He railed in our office, files strewn like battlefield. I steadied. Human error, not hubris. We fix, we fortify. Firing with grace. Counseling mandated, restitution planned. We emerged tighter, protocols penned in bloodless ink. Lesson etched. Even allies falter. Vigilance is love's companion. Emotional depths plumbed as Alex navigated love's labyrinth. Jordan's family. Conservative transplants from Boise. Balked at the gay thing. Pressuring breakup. Heartbreak's hammer fell during a family dinner we'd hosted. Jordan absent. Alex's eyes red-rimmed. They say it's a phase. But Dad, it's not. Rage simmered. Liam channeled it into a family mediation offer, rejected curtly. Alex mourned, sketches darkening to storms, but resilience rooted deep. I'll wait, he declared, chin lifted. Real love doesn't quit. We supported movie marathons with queer icons, therapy sessions tag-teamed. Months later, Jordan rebelled, coming out to Cheers. Reconciliation picnic under oaks, forgiveness flowing freer than Willamette currents. Humanism's harvest ripened in quiet codas. Sarah's journals inspired a writing workshop for grievers, participants sharing shards that mended mirrors. One widow penned, "Your story lit my dark." Liam's book launched to acclaim, tours blending readings with rallies, Idaho homecoming poignant, his parents' embrace thawing old frosts. "We were wrong," his mom whispered. "Proud now." Nate proposed to his partner, our wedding officiating reciprocal cycles of commitment. Climax's shadow lifted fully one golden October eve. Elmwood's rededication, policies plaque-mounted, Alex keynoting. Jim packed, rivals turned allies. Hargrove retired, but successors nodded respect. "We stand corrected," principal intoned. Alex's speech soared. "Rights aren't battles won once. They're daily dances. Dance with me." Applause thundered. Tommy, now mentor, hugged him fierce. Backstage, Liam and I enveloped our boy. "You slayed, kid." Pride's prism, multifaceted, blinding. Ending unfurls not in fanfare, but fade, a humanistic hush. Winters soften. Spring's surprise with blooms unbidden. Liam and I age into grooves. Silver threading his temples, laugh lines mapping mine. Alex graduates valedictorian. Speech echoing ours. Love litigates. College bound east, but roots run river deep. Visits brim with stories, his, ours, tapestry ever weaving. Betrayals? Scars, not shackles, testimonies to tenacity. Conflicts? Catalysts forging fiercer bonds. Romance? Evergreen, watered by trials. In America's mosaic, flawed, fractured, fabulous. We carve our corner. Single parent no more, but sentinel of stories untold. The courtroom battle shocked. Yes, but the aftermath? A symphony of shocks gentler. Joys unearthed, loves unearthed, lives unbowed. Shock yields to serenity, one gavel's echo at a time.